Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Weston.
I'm Eli.
And today we're doing a video on one of my favorite bands ever, Iron Maiden. Specifically the first album. We're going to rank the songs on one of the great debut albums of all time, including the single Sanctuary, which is on the album if you are listening to either the 1998 remasters or the original original international versions of the album. So, if you're watching on my channel, make sure to leave a comment about why I'm better than him. And if you're watching on his channel, watch it on my channel. So, today's going to be pretty simple. Eli's going to go first with his pick, then I'll go to my pick. We don't know each other's lists.
No,
so,
we don't.
Our reactions to what the other is ranking is going to be completely real. We're not making anything up.
I don't think anything will be that surprising, though.
It'll be interesting to note, though, that I have spent a lot of time with this album. This is kind of one of my comfort albums. I've listened to this many, many times over the years. And this is Eli.
Yes, sir. I've only heard the album, like, 3 times, really. But I've only listened to it, like, paying attention a lot twice. Because I've heard it, he listened to it with me. Just with the vinyl the first time, so I didn't really pay attention because I wasn't like a big Maiden fan back then. So, but now I like them a lot. So, yeah. So I've only heard it a couple times. So, but this is just my opinion. So don't take offense to anything, because this is my opinion. This is not fact, and some of these choices probably you won't agree with.
So my opinion is well founded. I've listened to these songs hundreds of times each. And my opinion is the correct opinion. So
that's what he likes to say a lot.
You all know it's true.
You've never even seen a video.
Leave your less correct opinions down in the comments below. And starting with number 9, Eli's pick is...
Okay, so for my number 9, this might surprise people. Because I'm pretty sure it's a single. I chose Running Free for number 9. I know a lot of people like this. It's kind of a fan favorite from the album. I think the drumming in the beginning is just a little boring. You know, it's kind of like it gets into the song. Like once it gets into it, it's pretty good. But overall, I don't know. I think it's probably the most boring song on the album. That's why I picked it. But it's still a great song. Every song on this album is good. But I just think this is the worst one. Just in my opinion.
I will say this was the lead single from the album.
Yeah, so that's why some people are gonna be mad. So,
well, I think I'm gonna do something that's slightly more controversial than that. Maybe not. My number 9 is Charlotte the Harlot. I think that largely it's a solid song. I should have prefaced before this. I don't think there's a bad song on this album, but I think that Charlotte is the least good. There's some good riffing. The lyrics are pretty terrible. Honestly, they're not great. The bluesy middle section is not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of that. Overall, it's an okay song. Dave Murray went on to write much better songs than this. And, yeah, bottom for me, definitely. Eli, you're number 8.
Okay. My number 8, I decided to go with Sanctuary. And I know a lot of people like this song a lot, and it's kind of a live staple.
Try this over here.
At least it used to be, maybe still is, but it used to be a live staple. They used to play it a lot, like to close out shows and stuff. But I don't know. I think there's just all the other songs in this album are better than that. And I think the chorus is good when it finally gets to the chorus. But it pauses like 2 or 3 times before that, and the pauses just throw me off a little bit. So I think it's a great song still, but it's the 8th best song on the album.
Okay, my number 8, surprisingly, both of our bottom 2s are 4 completely different songs. Mine is Strange World. Strange World is a good song. I think it's interesting in the Maiden catalog, kind of an oddity, which I believe is due to the fact that this song was allegedly written by the band's original singer, Paul Mario Day, despite what the Steve Harris writing credit says. I think that it's a good song. I think there's some great bass playing in here. I like Paul Di'Anno's delivery on this song a lot. I think that it's not their best work. I think that it's a little slow, a little plodding. It's not overly long, but it's they've done better. Eli, number 7.
Yeah, so for my number 7, I chose Strange World. So kind of like he said, I think this is still a great song. It's very like atmospheric, and it's kind of it's different from every other song in the album. It has a different vibe to it, so that's why I kind of like it. But I don't know. I think it's a great song, but I don't know. I just put it here because there's better songs in it, but it's still a great song.
Okay. My number 7, I have Running Free. I will agree with what Eli said. This is arguably the most... There's not a lot going on here musically. I do love Steve's bass playing, though. It's a lot of fun to play along to on bass and drums, not so much guitar. I think that it's a little long live, but it's just kind of a fun song. It's not supposed to be anything crazy or super complex. It's just a fun little poppy-ish song. And I appreciate that I appreciate it for what it is. Yeah.
Number 6?
Number 6.
Okay, for my number 6, I chose Charlotte the Harlot. I think...
Surprisingly high.
Yeah, well, I think most people don't like this song, but I think, at least from what I've heard from some people, the chorus is what brings it down. Yeah. I'd rather like the chorus, but the lyrics are definitely not good. They're not great lyrics, as if you've heard the song, you would know. But I think the rest of the song is just like, it's punchy, you know, it's totally classic Maiden. Like, it fits the album perfectly, I think. So, yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay. I am debating. No, I'm going to go with number 6 as Sanctuary. Similarly to Strange World, this was not actually written by somebody in the band who played on the first album. It was written by one of the older guitarists. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but probably should have looked that up. I think it's a fun song. It's catchy, it's punchy, goes right into it, doesn't waste any time. I do think the issue with the pauses is because you were listening to the BBC Archives version. Yeah. The pauses are not quite as bad on the studio version. There's some space filled by Clive's hi-hat. And yeah, I think it's a fun song. I enjoy it. I think it would have been a better fit on the album than Charlotte the Harlot, in my opinion. Some people might disagree with that, but that is my opinion, which is better than his opinion.
I disagree, but
your opinion might be solid.
Okay. Number 5.
5.
For number 5, I chose Prowler. I think this is a top like 3 for most people. Because it's the opening song. It's a great opener. Gets right into it. It's a great riff. The lyrics are also not good. They have some questionable lyrics on this album.
Yeah, they do. They were not good lyricists at this point, and Steve has never been the best lyricist. Yeah. Let's be honest.
But I don't know. I think this is still a great song. I like when it kind of stops, and then it goes to the other riff, and then it gets more intense than the beginning. So I like the second half of the song more than the first half. But the riff, it's a great riff. It's iconic. So yeah, I'm putting it at number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is The Iron Maiden, the title track from this album. The only song in Iron Maiden history that has never left the set list even once. Yeah, actually, I do believe there was one show on the Dance of Death tour where they had technical difficulties and weren't able to finish it. But that aside,
it doesn't count.
This is a classic song. I think it's quintessential new wave of British heavy metal. It's straight to the point, has one of the most legendary riffs of all time, and it's the Iron Maiden. What can you say about it that has not been said already? But other than that, it's not a perfect song. It's good. It's not one of the best Iron Maiden songs ever, and I don't think that's a very uncommon opinion to have. So, yeah, number 5, Iron Maiden.
Yeah, so for number 4, I chose Iron Maiden. So obviously, basically everything he said, it's the live staple that they do every show. It's an iconic song for a reason. It's the title track on the self-titled album. So it's like Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden.
Like Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, what they were going for is like, I don't know, it was kind of like their anthem. And obviously it's a great riff, and it's a great closer to the album. Because the last song is very energetic. It just leaves you feeling satisfied once you're done listening. So, yeah, I think it's a great song.
And, interesting to note, on this entire list is the only song that we have seen live from this album at this point in time.
After one show.
One show.
But they
Not
play
enough.
every show, so.
Not enough. Hopefully we'll see them on the US leg of the Future Past tour. Please. Please. Anyway, number 4 for me is Remember Tomorrow. This is a very fun song. It's very atmospheric. Sorry, not fun. It's a very interesting song. It's very atmospheric. I feel like it was more indicative of what would come later, where you get the slow intro into a big build, punchy middle section, some great guitar solos. I think this one is a song that really comes alive when they're playing it live in front of an audience. And I think especially with Paul Di'Anno later on in the career, probably midway through the Killers era, Made in Japan especially is probably my favorite version of this song. I think is when it really hit. This is when you really feel what this song's all about. But the studio version, while good, is not the same, and I think that Paul's vocals are not at his best on the recording that's on the album. So that's why it's not higher. Which is a very good song, and I think it's one that's absolutely grown on me a lot over time listening to this album. So top 3 now.
Okay.
Number 3.
So for my 3, I did Remember Tomorrow. Seems that whatever he does lower, mine's right above it. But yeah, I like this song a lot. Starts out slower. I think Di'Anno sounds great on it. And then it goes into that cool riff that's kind of in the background, and then it goes more into like this is the main part of the song. But yeah, it's just a great song. It's a kind of a nice break for a minute, and then it gets to the same intensity as the rest of the album, like you're expecting and what you want to hear. So yeah, I think it's a great song. So I'm putting it at number 3.
And my number 3, I feel like this trend is going to continue. My number 3 is Transylvania. This is probably my favorite Maiden instrumental. I go back and forth between this and Lost for Words, but this is has a very interesting riff, very unique. It's a fun instrumental. It has a lot of great solos. It's high energy, high intensity. It's a great track. Yeah, and I wish they would play it live more often. I don't think it's been played since probably the 2004 or 5 oldies tour, but before that, I think probably the early 90s. Yeah. Now your number 2.
So my number 2 is
Getting up
Transylvania. So
I was right.
I think with instrumentals sometimes it's like you don't know what to name it, so you kind of just name it a random thing, and it's like that's kind of associated with it. But I feel like this Transylvania is a perfect name for this song.
I agree.
Because like it totally has the vibe of like creepy, like vampire whatever. Because I don't know, it's a great song. It's just like full of intensity the whole time. Great riffs, great melodies. It's a great instrumental song, and yeah, it fits perfectly on this album. Yeah, I think it's a great song.
That's a great segue into Strange World as well.
Yeah, it does.
So my number 2, disappointed you put it so low, is Prowler. I think in the conversation of best first songs on first albums in history, I think this is up there as one of the best. It punches you right in the face, shows that this band is not messing around, and has one of my favorite Dave Murray solos in the entire catalog. The lyrics are not great, admittedly.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter, though, because Paul delivers them with such conviction, such power. Not that he can really associate with being a pervert, I hope. Please, Paul. But
no, he's all good.
Hopefully. Yeah, I really enjoy this song. It's one of my favorites, and I think that this is an album where the high energy songs really stand out. Especially this one, chief among them all. Yeah, so that's my number 2, and our number 1s are the same song.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Phantom of the Opera.
I mean, right? Like, it's pretty clearly at least, and I mean, obviously it's an opinion. So if you have different opinions, fine. But in terms of like quality, I feel like pretty. This is pretty obviously the best song on the album.
I feel this is very indicative of where they would later go.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot in common with some of the modern Maiden music. There's a lot of progressive elements that I love. If this is one of your first time watching the channel, I am a big prog fan. And this song has a lot of great different sections. It has some cool melodies, some awesome guitar harmonies. Not one of my favorite Dennis Stratton guitar solo. The last solo in the song, in the slower section before the verse kicks back in, is my favorite Dennis Stratton solo on this album. And this is one of my favorite Steve Harris songs. The bass part on this song is incredible. I love playing along to it. I'm not a great bassist, but this song is so much fun to play along to because it's just non-stop fun. And yeah, I think this showed what they were capable of at that point in their career. And I don't think a lot of people realized it at the time, but it's stuff like this that really set Maiden apart from all the other bands at the time, from all the other up-and-coming groups, and showed that they were going to stick around, as opposed to, not that there's anything wrong with it, but the Angel Witches or the Samsons.
Yeah, I think a lot of people complain. It's like, oh, just Maiden, they just decided to do a bunch of long songs on the newer albums. That's why a lot of people who were first introduced with this stuff, they don't like that as much.
This and Killers especially.
Yeah, but if you listen to this song, you can tell that they've had it the whole time. And like after like watching some videos and stuff, a lot of people say that "To Tame a Land" was like the first song, the last song on Peace of Mind. That was like the first song where they kind of like started to do like longer songs with like slow openings, and that's kind of what got them into what they do now. But that song is very similar to Phantom of the Opera. Like in the middle there's a break, and then it has like the bass playing. So I think people forget about this a lot, that this was they had it from the very beginning of what they would eventually go to. And it's like, I don't know exactly how long it is, like 7 minutes 20 seconds, but
roughly.
It just goes straight into it, and it's just going full speed the entire song, and it's just great. It's a great song.
I've honestly never heard someone say that "To Tame a Land" was the first epic, but I will argue for any of you who do believe that. I think this one, and I think "Hallowed Be Thy Name," in maybe even 22 Acacia Avenue.
I don't know about that. Maybe, and it depends what you think as an epic.
Yeah.
Because like an epic, to you, could be anything that you think is epic. But traditionally, what it's used is supposed to be like a longer song with like a journey.
Yeah.
Journey in music.
Well, at risk of getting too far off topic, let's wrap this up by quickly reviewing our list. Eli, you want to go first?
Okay, yeah. So my list, number 9, number 9 I had Running Free. Number 8 I had Sanctuary. Number 7 I had Strange World. 6 Charlotte the Harlot. 5 Prowler. 4 Iron Maiden. 3 Remember Tomorrow. 2 Transylvania, and 1 Phantom of the Opera.
And then my list, I have at 9 Charlotte the Harlot, 8 Strange World, 7 Running Free, 6 Sanctuary, 5 the title track Iron Maiden, 4 Remember Tomorrow, 3 Transylvania, 2 Prowler, and 1 Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, let us know in the comments which list you agree with more, and share with us your own. I found this one was particularly hard to rank because a lot of the songs are on somewhat equal footing. There's not any that stand out way above the rest, with the exception of Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. Obviously the best song.
In our opinions, collectively. Yeah, we appreciate you watching. Make sure to check out our other videos. On my channel, I have all sorts of other music and movie-related stuff if you're interested in that.
As do I on my channel, or will in the future. But yeah, make sure to check either of us out if you want. So. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Look forward. We will soon be ranking the songs on Killers, the second Iron Maiden album. So look for that when that comes out. And thank you all. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you.
Up the irons.